Hi, welcome back to a new episode. Today you join me on a very disappointing day for people who hold Hcmc. If we can have a look at the price of Hcmc, things actually plummeted by about 17%, and before 9:30 this morning things were looking pretty fantastic, with the share price actually taking quite a big increase before plummeting at that 9:30 open of the New York Stock Exchange. So things were really quite disappointing for the rest of the day, as you can see. We did actually get a bit of a recovery from about 11:40, but honestly guys, it wasn't enough to bring us back into the green. So the question for tonight's one is now the perfect time to buy this stock, or should you avoid? Well, you already know that I am not a financial advisor, but if you might enjoy hearing my opinions, please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, because we do cover Hcmc and many other stocks every single day. With all that information being shared though, we're not going to waste any more time. Let's jump straight into this episode and have a look at what might be affecting Hcmc today. So looking on the Nasdaq, we can see that the Nasdaq is actually relatively flat today, but even from the morning session, it was actually coming down a little bit. The S&P 500 is showing a very similar thing, with a very small increase in gains today, but things are still up by a very small amount. But overall, a lot of the market did take a big hit, and we can see this is sort of reflected in the price of Hcmc. Of course, it didn't come back as strong as those two indexes did, but overall, this one is actually coming back towards the end of the session. I think that's a good thing overall. I think the reason why this one fell a lot more than these other indexes and a lot of other stocks is because with a stock like this, there is a lot of hype in it and people have poured a lot of money in it. Now, of course, looking at my personal position, last time I looked at it on my mobile phone, I can tell you that I was down about $185, which is of course a significant amount. To say I only put in about $600 into this initial investment, so things really did take quite a big hit, and we can see how that might have scared away a lot of investors, because let's face it, my position is not that large at 185,000 shares. People who have 1 million shares or so on and so on probably got a bit scared, and a lot of people probably sold this one. I think that is to be expected. I think now we are in a better position because a lot of hype is probably out of this stock, as people who couldn't take the heat probably left. Now that's not necessarily a good thing, but it's also not necessarily the worst thing in the world, so I think a lot of people are seeing this as a bad thing, and I honestly don't think it is. I think with Hcmc we are going to see a lot more hype going forwards, and I think now is not the worst time to buy. And honestly, I wish I'd have bought in my position only a few days later, because I could have bought way more shares at the current price, or even at the price a little bit lower earlier this morning. But right now I think today is not a bad point to buy this stock. We have seen a few days of consistent falls, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I think this one was kind of sped up by the fact that the whole index of the Nasdaq and the S&P fell by quite a bit over the past few days. I think this stock is kind of reflecting that one if we do have a look between the Nasdaq and the S&P and how Hcmc itself has been moving. So I'm not too concerned about this one. I'm still holding for the long-term period because I do see a lot of potential with this one. If you do know about all the catalysts, which we did talk about in previous episodes, you will know that the potential for the stock is there, but of course it is risky and we just don't know where it is going right now. But ultimately, the reason why this one fell today, a lot of the market is down and I'm not too worried about that, and of course a lot of people bought into the stock for the hype, and I think it's fair enough that a lot of people got scared when it did fall by quite a large amount, and probably a lot of people subsequently sold their position. Going forwards into tomorrow, I think we definitely do have a lot of potential now to see this one in the green. We can see that strong pullback towards the end of session, like I said, as I personally believe a lot more people will be adding to their position at this discounted price. I think that is understandable as well. I think it's also a good thing. I think from now on, hopefully this sell-off is coming to an end, because the past 5 days haven't been too kind to the stock, and I would like to see it come back towards the end of this week. And I think if that is possible, if we can have tomorrow in the green, we're in a great standing going forwards, and we could see this one continue to rally upwards. But I think in the next few weeks this one is going to be green anyway. I think now is probably one of the best points that we have seen to buy. It was falling and I definitely thought that today was going to be green, but unfortunately we are slightly in the red, which isn't the best thing to see, but with everything that has gone on it is understandable. But for a long-term hold, I think now is one of the better opportunities. But please be aware this one is a speculative play, but if you are willing to take that risk and hold it for a long-term period, it definitely could pay off, as we have that Philip Morris lawsuit coming up pretty soon and a lot of other factors which could help to grow the business. We've talked about this in previous episodes, but I think that right now the potential is there to see this one in the green tomorrow. I don't think it will be by too much, but I think it will be by enough to justify getting into the stock right now. I definitely think it's not the worst buy. I think it's one of the best buy points that we have seen all week, especially with this one coming back up towards the end of session. But guys, please do tell me what you think down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you have to say. With all that information being shared, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye until then.